Hey, what's going on, everyone? Greg Helbeck here today. And I'm actually interviewing my friend, Cristina Ortega, who runs a very successful real estate business, helping homeowners all across Los Angeles and all across Phoenix. And I wanted to interview her today on some of the unique kind of case studies she might, and she, not that she might, that she encounters, on a daily basis, and how a lot of homeowners are really able to sell their property, I would say the easy way, while still getting a fair price and having certainty and convenience be first and foremost in the transaction. I feel like the more we can kind of get the message out about really how this offer can benefit the right type of homeowner, maybe someone who might be on the fence, they might see this video and then they can kind of see that, Cristina and I are real human beings who are here to actually help homeowners get out of situations they might not want to be in. So Cristina, thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, great to be here, Greg. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, I'm just trying not to sound like a news anchor, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to get into real quick, like, I know you get a lot of people reaching out to you in Los Angeles and in Phoenix,
Right.
So all across some of these bigger markets. And they reach out to you because they have a property or they have a situation involving a property that generally calls for more of a cash offer versus just putting your home on the market with a realtor and selling it and kind of doing the traditional option. So what are some situations that you normally see, with your business that are pretty common? Because I feel like the people who are watching this right now, they're able to maybe see their situation, compare it to what you're saying, and they can maybe think this could be a good fit for them, which it probably would be.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, what, one of the most common situations that we see is family members calling on behalf of, like, it could either be their grandmother or their aging parents, and they're having to move them into, like, maybe it's an assisted living home. Some cases it might be into, like, they're moving them to come live with the kids now. And so, quite often it could be the property is a lot farther. So where their relative is living in this property, they're having to make a big move, and maybe the family is in another state or another city. And it makes it really hard for them to be able to get to this other city where this house is, fix it up, list it, work with the realtor, make it so that the house is available. So there's just like a lot of hurdles that, that some people might not be able to just drop their whole life to be able to tend to this kind of a situation. And then they need the help of someone like you or me who comes in, and we can really handle the entire process for them. We bought a house last month, actually in Compton, a kind of a similar situation to this. The property, so the grandmother, it was a grandmother and her sister were living in this property, and both of them were getting dementia, so they were needing to be moved into an assisted living home. But their family was in Washington, and so coming and making this move was just really hard. So what we did was we actually hired movers that went over there, packed up all their stuff for her. We told them, so the only thing we can't help with in this kind of a situation is when, like, you need to take which belongings you want, right? If, let's say, you're fine with donating it all, and we usually work with, like, either churches or Salvation Army to try and donate as much stuff as possible so that their stuff isn't just like being hauled away to junk removal, but they take their possessions that they do want to take with them, or maybe there's some stuff that they wanted to put in storage, and then we just handle everything else. We actually moved these little grandmothers into their assisted living. Like, I physically did it myself to put them into the home to make sure they were, like, settled and everything, and then handled all of their stuff so that the family didn't actually have to come and physically be there to make this happen, because they're in another state and they just didn't have the time and the resources to, like, be flying back and forth. So we handled that. We cleaned out the house, and then, yeah, there was really little that they had to do. They really only just had to figure out the actual stuff that they wanted to take with them, and we handled the rest. So
that is absolutely awesome. Yeah. And that's the big, I'm so happy you shared that case study, because a lot of people, they might see this online. They might see ads on Facebook. They might get stuff in the mail, probably from me. And they don't really know the ins and outs of it. They, human beings have perception and then they have reality.
Right.
And I think when homeowners and consumers are able to really like watch a video like this and hear a live case study from you on how you really solved a serious problem for somebody, because a lot of people, especially regarding real estate, especially in California, it can get very stressful because it's expensive. A lot of times it's one of the only assets they have. And they want to make sure, because of such a big decision, they're making the right decision. And the homeowners that sell to you and they sell to me, they value this number one thing over anything else. And I have found that it is certainty. They want to know that our offer is not going to change. They want to know that our offer is going to be no strings attached. Right. And I've found, and I'm sure you obviously see this, once they go full cycle with a company like yours or a company like mine, and they actually are like, wow, he said or she said all these things and they did all these things. Right. They're like raving fans, and they'll tell their friends, they'll tell their family members. We get referral leads all the time. Right. And it really is gratifying to be able to truly help somebody, especially like in your scenario, like where they were all the way up in Washington State. I mean, that's 1,000 miles away from California. It's a burden for the whole family.
Exactly. Yeah. And obviously that's not the situation on how it happens every time. But I think one of the great things about a service like yours and mine, we are so adaptable to just catering to our customers or our clients and giving what they need for their situation. And it changes from time to time or from deal to deal, right? No two situations are exactly the same. And how we're able to show up for people is very different than like a realtor is just going to list your property. They're waiting for the right buyer to come by. We have the cash. We're able to work within whatever kind of parameters they give us, just because it doesn't matter to us at the end of the day. We want to buy the home, whether it takes, if they need to close next week, we can do that. Or if we need to, help them. A really common situation that we're seeing now too is they're moving out of state. They have another house, maybe it's being built, or they're just waiting to close on this other property. And there's so many moving parts over there that we can, when you're working with like a retail buyer, they're like, no, we're closing this day and we need to have the house then. Whereas you and me, we're like, I mean, we can change the closing date and keep changing it to accommodate your schedule, as opposed to like, no, I need to be there because I need to live in it myself. Right. That's just, it's totally not the case with us. So yeah.
You made such a great point there. And that's the difference between selling to a private buyer like Cristina and I, or selling the traditional route. When you sell the traditional route, you're selling to a consumer most likely, and the consumer has a lot of things that are out of their control that can impact your transaction. When I'm saying your transaction, I'm speaking to the person listening to or watching this. Right. There's a lot of things outside your control, such as appraisers, mortgage brokers, realtors. There's a lot of things that, are uncertain. But when you sell to a private company like mine or Christina's, I guarantee you're going to get that certainty. And like she just said, if you want to close in 30 days, great. If you want to close in 10 days, great. I have customers that I work with, they want to close in 60, 70, 80, 90 days. And they want to know going to bed at night that their house is sold to Greg. And I don't have to worry about Greg, going to Mars and bailing on my house, because, every time I make an offer, I tell every seller, this is my offer. It's not going to change. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And I guarantee certainty. And they know that. And that's how I'm able, and that's how you're able to help a lot of people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if people are listening to this right now or watching this right now, and they want to get an offer on their property, I would say for them, if they want to just call your number on the website, or if they want to fill out any form you have on your website, I highly recommend them to do that. Is there any other way they can get in touch with you besides that?
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to text us, if they wanted to email us, we're fine with whatever mode of communication works best for you. Usually a phone call it's just going to give us the opportunity to get to know you as quickly as possible and structure a deal that's good for you. I recommend just, but it's whatever is most comfortable for our customers.
Well, I appreciate you joining us today. I hope everyone watching and listening to this got some value. And if they have a house for sale in LA or in Phoenix, give Christina's company a call. She is awesome. And I promise she's going to do the right thing and you will be very happy with everything.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Greg. I had a great time talking to you.
Absolutely.